The concept of emotional intelligence, AE, primarily revolves around the capacity to not only identify and manage one's own emotions, but also empathize and understand the emotions of others. High levels of A equips individuals with the skills to maneuver in different social environments, distinguishing between variety of feelings and reacting appropriately according to the situation. Daniel Goleman, a renowned science journalist, brought this term to the forefront in his 1995 book Emotional Intelligence, defining it as the bedrock of leadership quality. Despite its inception in 1964, there are divergent views on E. Some believe it to be an innate trait, while others argue that it can be nurtured and enhanced with time. Various frameworks have been devised to gauge the levels of AE, one of them being the emotional quotient, EQ, a term coined by Keith Beasley in 1987 following the intelligence quotient, IQ. Subsequent models have been formulated which focus differently on behavioral tendencies, abilities, and even the adeptness to recognize emotional cues. Goleman's initial model of I blends these varying aspects. Research shows that individuals possessing heightened A tend to have better mental health, job performance, and leadership skills, though no direct causality has been established yet. With its association with empathy, great interest has been shown in enhancing AE as a means to improve leadership skills yet. Questions regarding I's validity as an actual intelligence and its efficacy over IQ and the Big Five personality traits have been raised. Despite these debates, a solid idea of A first emerged in the works of Abraham Maslow in the 1950s and was later expanded by Howard Gardner's theory of multiple intelligences in 1983. Gardner postulated that traditional intelligence assessments like IQ were insufficient to understand cognitive abilities fully, and proposed the concepts of interpersonal and intrapersonal intelligence as central to understanding and engaging with the world around and within us. The term EQ found its first published use in an article by Keith Beasley in 1987. A study supported by Josh Schuck discovered a strong correlation between successful leadership and emotional competence, underscoring theories that superior leadership can be largely attributed to the presence of emotional intelligence, or E. E is a combination of social, emotional, and relational skills. Despite criticism and without replacing IQ tests, A has been defined as an individual's ability to comprehend their own emotions and those of others, differentiate between various emotions effectively, and use this emotional information to influence behavior. Additionally, AE represents the capacity to integrate intelligence, empathy, and emotion to improve understanding of interpersonal relations. However, there is ongoing debate over the concrete definition and functioning of AE. At present, 3 major models of AE exist, each with unique methods for gauging the construction. With a focus on the interaction of emotions with cognition, specific ability models suggest that emotionally sensitive people can be superior decision makers. Individuals who can appropriately incorporate or exclude emotions depending on the situation show a higher emotional intelligence. Emotion-based model, another model proposed by Peter Salovey and John Mayer, observes emotions as useful information to make sense of and navigate the social environment. This model proposes people differ in their ability to process emotional information and connect such processing to broader cognition, manifesting in adaptive behaviors. Ultimately, Salovey and Mayer defined AE as the capacity to reason about and with emotions to enhance thinking, including the abilities to accurately perceive emotions and make use of emotions to assist thought, understand emotions, and manage emotions to promote both emotional and intellectual growth. Utilizing emotions creatively and strategically is a key facet of emotional intelligence. The skilled individual can tap into their changeable emotional state to optimize their thinking and problem-solving skills for any given task at hand. Furthermore, understanding emotions involves not only identifying and deciphering emotional language, but also understanding the intricate interplay and development of emotions over time. Importantly, emotional intelligence involves managing emotions, whether one's own or others, even the negative ones, and steering them towards the achievement of specific objectives. There has, however, been criticism towards the model of emotional intelligence, A, for its supposed lack of predictive validity in professional setting. Despite this, the advantage of Ability 8 tests holds firm, as they use standard performance scales to judge an individual's performance whilst avoiding self-report. The current version of Mayer and Salovey's A model, the Mayer-Salovey Caruso Emotional Intelligence Test, MESIT, uses emotion-related problem solving items to evaluate a person's abilities regarding different aspects of that. In line with the assertion that AE is a distinct type of intelligence, the test likens itself to ability. Based IQ tests, this leads to scoring both the 4 branches of AE and the cumulative score. A significant aspect of this 4-branched model is the contention that AE calls for alignment with social norms. As a consequence, the MACI uses a consensus-based scoring system, with scores reflecting the degree of agreement between an individual's responses and those of a global sample. It also allows for expert scoring based on the concurrence between an individual's responses and those of a panel of 21 emotional research experts. Although advertised as an ability test, the MESCAT deviates from traditional IQ tests since its items do not have universally correct answers. Among other hurdles, the consensus scoring standard implies that it is not feasible to construct questions that can only be answered by a minority, as responses are considered emotionally intelligent only if endorsed by the majority. This predicament has sparked debate among cognitive ability experts regarding the actual definition of AEA's genuine intelligence. A study by Fallsdal, which compared the MIS-C test results of business leaders with ratings from their employees, found no correlation between a leader's test results and the employees' evaluations of their leader's empathy, motivational skills, and effectiveness. Fallsdal also took issue with Multi-Health Systems, who administers the test, and have drawn scrutiny for not officially stating their removal of 19 unverified answers in the 141 question test. Other tools have also been deployed to evaluate emotional intelligence capabilities, underlining the varied approach in the field. The analysis of emotional intelligence involves various multifaceted tests and methodologies. Examples of such tests include the Japanese and Caucasian Brief Affect Recognition Test, JACBART, which involves the identification of various emotions expressed by Caucasian and Japanese individuals, the Situational Test of Emotional Understanding, STU, which assesses emotional discernment in variable contexts. There are alternative and briefer versions of these tests also available. Emotional intelligence is a complex construct that enjoys a broad framework. According to Daniel Goleman's model, the model highlights vital A aspects such as self-awareness, self-regulation, and motivation. Goleman emphasizes that emotional competencies, unlike innate traits, are learned capabilities that can be enhanced for superb performance. However, his model has faced criticism, with some labeling it as just pop psychology. The effectiveness of emotional intelligence is further gauged by tools such as the Emotional Competence Inventory, SEI, and the Emotional and Social Competence Inventory, SC. These assessment tools offer a behavioral measure of it. The AE appraisal assessment enables either a self- or 360-degree analysis. On the other hand, ALFUAE Petrides introduced trait A, distinct from the ability-based model of AI, as the collection of one's emotional self-perceptions and as part of someone's personality framework. Such a concept can also be described as trait emotional self-efficacy. In reviewing the concept of emotional intelligence, AU, several self-report tests such as the EEC-I suite and the Schutte-AI model are of note. However, these models are not measures of intelligence, abilities, or skills, but rather dimensions of trait. Emotional intelligence predominantly used and researched is the EEC-I 2.0, the initial self-report evaluation of emotional intelligence that predates Goleman's seminal work, effectively operationalizing the model of Petrides and his team, which envisages A in terms of personality, is the Trait Emotional Intelligence Questionnaire, TOEIC, including 15 subscales under 4 elements: well-being, self-control, emotionality, and sociability. It has undergone rigorous investigation and been deemed reliable. Importantly, unlike nonverbal reasoning, strong links to the Big Five personality traits of extroversion, agreeableness, openness, and conscientiousness have been recognized genetic influences on trait. AE scores have also been identified via quantitative genetic studies. Indeed, the Big Five personality traits theory provides a template for understanding others and fostering relationships, fundamentally explaining general behavior tendencies. The Big Five model, or five-factor model, posits that personality comprises 5 factors captured using the acronym CANOE or OCEAN: conscientiousness, agreeableness, neuroticism, openness, and extroversion. Notably, this theory situates personality traits along a spectrum as opposed to the binary categorization of other theories. Reviews have indicated that higher emotional intelligence is associated with better social relationships. Among children and adults, high AE has been found to be linked with successful interpersonal relationships, self-perception of social ability, and reduced antisocial behavior or deviance from societal norms. These findings are corroborated by self-reports, family testimonials, and teacher observations clearly. Emotional intelligence is a vital element in understanding human behavior and promoting positive social relations. Emotional intelligence, often abbreviated as AI, has been increasingly recognized as a significant aspect of both personal development and professional competencies, especially in the context of academic achievements, work dynamics, and overall well-being. Studies have shown a direct correlation between higher emotional intelligence and improved academic performance, as observed by teachers, though this may not necessarily translate to improved grades when considering the influence of IQ. Moreover, individuals with developed A tend to have more robust social dynamics in workplace scenarios, enabling them to negotiate better. It's also correlated to better levels of life satisfaction, self-esteem, and minimal instances of insecurities or depressive behaviors. Enhanced emotional intelligence can lead individuals to make decisions based on a healthy blend of emotions and rationale, often guiding them to self-actualization. In fields like business leadership, negotiation, and dispute resolution, the significance of emotional intelligence has been increasingly acknowledged. The globalized marketplace offers an environment that demands the ability to negotiate diverse cultural contexts, adding to the demand for leaders with high AE. This also minimizes the repercussions of poor health choices and behavior. Intriguingly, research indicates a strong link between emotional intelligence and bullying, an abusive social interaction involving aggression, harassment, and violence, often repetitive, generally executed by people wielding power over the victims. Emotional intelligence is a crucial component in understanding instances of cyber victimization and its implications on health and social adaptation. Bullying behavior, as well as victimization, seems to have a connection with lower eye level. Here, one must understand that emotional intelligence encapsulates abilities linked to emotional understanding, usage, and management concerning oneself and others. This concept fuses emotional and intellectual processes, as stated by Meyer et al., 2008. Accurately perceiving emotion, using emotions to facilitate thought, understanding emotion, and managing emotion. Given that A can be developed and is not a fixed trait, it offers considerable hope for improved bullying prevention and intervention programs with efficient A education. Research has shown that there is no substantial correlation between emotional intelligence, A, and work attitude, behavior, implying that I may not always constitute a universally positive trait. A study found an adverse connection between A and managerial job demands, as well as between A and the effectiveness of teamwork in low managerial work settings. These findings could be explained by gender differences, as females tend to show higher A levels, emphasizing the idea that job context can influence relationships between job performance, and teamwork effectiveness. Studies on the correlation between A and job performance have offered mixed results, with both high and low correlations recorded. However, E has proven to be a more reliable predictor than traditional hiring methods, such as letters of reference or cover letters. By 2008, 147 companies and consulting firms across the U.S. had developed E-based programs for hiring and training employees. E has been linked to various performance sectors, including job performance and academic performance. Employees who are emotionally intelligent are more self-aware, perceptive of the emotions of others, and can lead companies to greater profits and reduced unnecessary expenses. This is particularly important for expatriate managers adjusting to new cultural environments. Furthermore, employees with high A exhibit greater confidence in their roles, allowing them to approach demanding tasks positively. According to Daniel Goleman, a journalist, A contributes more to career success than IQ. Other research also states that employees with higher levels of I perform significantly better than their low I counterparts. Observable through self-reports and performance indicators such as wage increases and promotions. I also helps employees develop robust and positive relationships with coworkers, leading to improved performance. Moreover, emotionally intelligent employees are better equipped to handle stress and demanding tasks, enabling superior performance in challenging situations. For example, a study of its scientists in a Chinese computer company revealed that I was the best predictor of job performance, even beyond general cognitive capacity. O'Boyle-Geer and his team highlighted in 2011 that emotional intelligence, AI, has a tangible positive impact on employment performance, strengthening previous findings with statistical evidence of positive correlations. They discovered that the three streams of A together and each individually correlated positively with job performance. Specifically, Stream 2 and 3 held an additive effect for predicting job performance beyond personality and cognitive ability. These two streams were the second most crucial predictors of job performance below cognitive ability, accounting for a significant proportion of the variance. However, the reliability of these compelling findings was sought after, with a publication bias analysis confirming the veracity of the A-job performance correlation research prior to 2010. Joseph, Jin, Newman, E. O'Boyle, 2015. Adding their insights into this research direction, agreed, stating further evidence of correlation between job performance in relation to emotional intelligence. According to the Consortium for Research on Emotional Intelligence in Organizations, despite the statistically valid claims, the practical implication of emotional intelligence on business strategy is a subject of debate. Some critics suggest that the appeal of A studies owes more to media promotion than to substantive scientific foundation. Also, they posit that the I-job performance relationship is not as strong as represented, necessitating the presence of other constructs to achieve pivotal outcomes, such as teamwork effectivity under high managerial demand. Regardless of contrary views, research affirmed that employees with a high AI perform better under high emotional demands. Yet, it also revealed that such individuals' performance may not differ significantly from that of non-emotionally intelligent employees in variegated job contexts. Joseph and Newman, 2010 for example, found the emotional perception and regulation components of AEU to be highly contributory to job performance during high emotional demand context. Further, Moon and Her, 2011, identified that emotional exhaustion or burnout has a significant effect on the job performance. I relationship, emotional exhaustion resonated negatively with optimism and social skills, components of I, thereby adversely affecting job performance. Consequently, employees boasting high-profile optimism and social skills are better equipped to outperform in high emotional exhaustion situations, implying a more potent A-job performance relationship context. Developing empathy is a critical step towards emotional growth and is closely linked with emotional intelligence, which in turn leads to effective leadership skills. Research studies have emphasized the role of AE in leadership, with evidence showing that good leaders often possess high emotional intelligence developed during counselor training where empathy is a primary focus. Furthermore, emotional intelligence has been significantly associated with both improved mental and physical health. Numerous meta-analyses have confirmed AE as a strong predictor for health, indicating a robust and stable line of research supporting this connection. The influence of high I also extends to personal well-being due to its role in fostering successful relationships. However, low levels of emotional intelligence have been linked to various behavioral issues such as substance dependence. Studies have demonstrated exceptionally low ACE scores among marijuana-dependent individuals in comparison to emotionally healthy control groups. Control groups were also found to have higher self-esteem. An Australian study has further illustrated the potential negative impact of low I levels, revealing a correlation with severity of drug and alcohol addiction levels. Encouragingly, participants' AI scores improved as they progressed through treatment and their addiction levels reduced. On a positive note, a recent meta-analysis revealed stronger academic performance among students possessing higher emotional intelligence. The study, which reviewed the effects from several different research papers in a sample size exceeding 40,000, demonstrated that these students typically scored better on standardized tests and achieved higher grades. These effects were particularly strong in the humanities, and even after considering elements of personality and intelligence, the link between emotional intelligence and academic achievement remained significant. Therefore, this body of research confirms the significant role emotional intelligence plays in various aspects of our lives, from leadership skills to health outcomes, addiction behavior, and academic achievement. Developing AA, particularly empathy, emerges as a key factor for growth and success across multiple life domains. The validity and application of emotional intelligence, AE, have been put to question by various critics within the scientific community. Taking into consideration Landy's analysis, there seems to be a disparity between the commercial and academic perceptions of AI's predictive power. It is noted that while the commercial sector makes quantum leaps in attributing various outcomes to AI, academics caution against these generalizations. Golem, one of the original proponents of AI, has, for instance, posited that effective leadership is predominantly characterized by high emotional intelligence. Meyer, however, flags that such implications that emotionally intelligent individuals have an upper hand in life are unproven and overly enthusiastic at the current scientific standards. Concerns are further accentuated by the fact that supporting data for such claims remains inaccessible for independent scrutiny due to their confinement in private databases. Thus, establishing objective measures of AI and demonstrating its influence on leadership remains a challenge, especially with self-report measures. According to an intellectual discourse in 2009 amongst Antonakis, Ashkenazi Diaspora, it emerged that researchers yet to prove the significance of AI in leadership with sturdy research designs. Antonakis, however, intimated that sensitivity towards emotional states, as dictated by high I, could potentially hinder decisive leadership. This notion of the curse of emotion is further consolidated by a 2010 meta-analysis by Harms and Crete. Here, measures of AI correlated minimally with transformational leadership once issues of common sources and methods were addressed. This analysis thus plausibly discredits the role of AI measures in leadership effectiveness. Furthermore, the paper proposes that even after taking into account Big Five traits in IQ, AI measures' validity in predicting job performance remains questionable. Notwithstanding, trait AI measures have shown to retain a level of predictive validity for job performance owing to their integration of achievement motivation, self-efficacy, and self-rated performance. The research conducted by Groves, McEnroe, and Sheen in 2008 indicates that emotional intelligence, AI, can be intentionally developed, particularly in enhancing emotional thinking and the regulation of emotions in a workplace setting. However, some doubts have been expressed regarding the degree to which self-reported AI assessments align with recognized personality aspects. Usually, self-reported AI evaluations are believed to coincide with personality assessments, as both are claimed to determine personality trait. Specifically, neuroticism and extroversion, two dimensions of the Big Five personality model, appear to be closely related to self-reported AI. Notably, neuroticism is connected to negative emotional responses and anxiety, suggesting that individuals with high neuroticism scores are likely to have lower scores on self-reported AI evaluations. Studies have looked into the combined effects of personality and intelligence on AI and attempted to adjust estimates to account for errors in measurements. Research conducted by Schulte, Ree, and Coretta in 2004, for instance, demonstrated that general intelligence, agreeableness, and gender can reliably predict it. This correlation has been backed by subsequent studies such as those by Fiore and Antonakis in 2011, and Antonakis and Dietz in 2011, which factored in variables such as intelligence and empathy. The interpretations of the congruences between AI questionnaires and personality have varied widely. Still, a significant viewpoint in scientific literature is the trait AI perspective, which redefines AI as a set of personality traits. A 2011 meta-analysis classified AI research into three categories. 1. Ability-based models using objective test items. 2. Self-report or peer report measures based on the four-branch model of AI. And 3. Mixed models of emotional competencies. This study found that these three categories have corrected correlations ranging from 24 to 0.30 with job performance. Furthermore, these categories correlated differently with cognitive ability, and the Big Five personality traits, neuroticism, extroversion, openness, agreeableness, and conscientiousness out of the three streams 2 and 3 were found to show the most significant validity beyond cognitive ability, and the five-factor model. In 2021, studies began to explore the relationship between emotional intelligence and darker traits of personality, namely narcissism, Machiavellianism, and psychopathy. The findings presented a negative relationship between emotional intelligence and these darker personality domains. Emotional intelligence's most significant influence was evident in emotion management among the four key branches: emotion perception, use, and understanding. This held particularly true for psychopathy in comparison to narcissism or Machiavellianism, however. Narcissism showcased varying relationships with emotional intelligence. Vulnerable narcissism, marked by anxiety and shaky self-esteem, correlated with lower emotional intelligence. Conversely, grandiose narcissism, characterized by self-confidence, dominance, and inflated ego, was linked to higher levels of emotional intelligence in essence. Not all individuals with dark personality traits lack emotional intelligence. A meta-analysis conducted also in 2021 shed light on the connections between emotional intelligence and attachment styles in adults. Emotional intelligence was found to have a positive association with secure attachment, but a negative association with insecure attachment styles, such as anxious and avoidant attachment. Both Ability A and rating scales of AI showed significant associations with these insecure styles of attachment. Only I's rating scales presented a significantly positive tie with secure attachment. Researchers speculated that early establishment of attachment styles might help or hinder the development of emotional abilities and traits linked with each. Response patterns in which test takers present themselves with excessive positive bias, known as faking good or socially desirable responding, have been recognized as contaminating elements in responses on personality inventories. The underlying concept is that this desirability bias acts as a link between self-report. Measures this response pattern is seen as circumstantial and temporary, distinguishing it from a more enduring trait, like quality. The issues arising from response sets become especially significant in high-stakes scenarios, like employment settings that use self-report A inventory. There are several proposed methods to deter socially desirable responding on behavior inventories. It's been suggested that test takers should be cautioned against faking good before taking a personality test, and some inventories employ validity scales to ascertain the likelihood or consistency of responses across all items. Critics often challenge Goleman's earlier work for presuming that AE is a type of intelligence or cognitive ability. Eysenck, 2000, argues that Goleman's portrayal of A embeds unsupported assumptions about intelligence in general and even contradicts what researchers typically expect when studying various forms of intelligence. Locke, 2005, argues that emotional intelligence, AE, is not a unique form of intelligence, but rather intelligence targeted at understanding emotions. He asserts that it's a skill rather than a type of intelligence. This argument emphasizes the importance of accurately defining and using scientific constructs prior to the term A. Psychologists had separate definitions for abilities, skills, attitudes, values, personality traits, and emotional state. Some scholars feel A somewhat complicates these distinctions. Adam Grant highlighted the misconception of regarding AE as a moral quality, emphasizing its role as a skill. He cautioned that overdeveloped I could potentially manipulate others by suppressing their ability to reason. In addition, a study by Roberts et al. 2001 questioned Meyer and Salovey's works, proposing that the AI test MISSEAT might just be gauging conformity due to its consensus-based evaluation. It was also pointed out that MISSEAT scores are better at differentiating people with low I compared to those with high A. Brody, 2004, criticized the MISSEAT, claiming it tests emotional knowledge rather than practical capabilities related to this knowledge. The argument here is that understanding the appropriate behavior in emotional situations does not necessarily translate into executing that behavior. The National Institute of Child Health and Human Development recognizes that, given the varied interpretation of AI, there's a critical need for mental health practitioners to arrive at a common definition of positive mental health and well-being. Presently, there are 6 different models, each with their own interpretations of positive health. These models seem to lean more towards philosophical interpretations rather than empirical terms, prompting Dr. Lawrence Becker to call for a consensus on defining positive psychological health.